So now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, I want you to welcome with his version of The Little Prince, storyteller Indiana Bones.
I am a storyteller. Now, a lot of people say that I kind of look like the very handsome Indiana Jones. But I'm actually his cousin in adventure. And that's where I get my stories from. I get my stories from all of my adventures. And I travel all around the world to find my stories. I see all types of different cultures, all types of different religions. And when I do, I reach into my man bag, that's right, man bag, and pull out my journal. And here I write the stories that I have found. Now, kids, feel free, because today, some of my stories might make you laugh. Come on, laugh. Some of the stories might make you sigh. And some of the stories might even make you cry. Especially the boys. Now, there are stories of bright and shiny things. Stories that tell of pirates, fools, and kings. There are stories of truth, faith, and dare. Stories that are shared so that we care. There are stories that are so very old that they're the ones the storytellers told. And this is a story of a young boy, a little prince, who set off in search of the greatest power in the universe, the magnetic power of love. There was a boy, a very strange, enchanted boy. They say he wandered very far, over land and sea. A little shy and sad of eye, but very wise was he. Well, this little boy, he was not me. When I was a little boy, I was not so wise. I wanted to be an artist. I'll show you why it wasn't too wise for me. You see, when I was 6, I saw a picture of a boa constrictor swallowing a warthog whole. Now, I don't know if any of you have ever tried to swallow a warthog whole. No? But I was very impressed. And so I thought, I like jungle stories. I bet I could draw a picture. And so my very first picture as an artist was this. And I took it and I showed it to the grown-ups. Grown-ups, what do you see?
A full snake.
A hat. A hat. Aren't you afraid? And they said, why be afraid of a hat? But this is not a hat. Kids, what do you see?
I see a warthog.
A snake. A snake that has swallowed something. Well, I had to show it to the adults, for you see, grown-ups, they need some help. Grown-ups, they don't understand things very easily by themselves. Grown-ups can sometimes be very, very strange. And so what I did was I drew the snake from the inside out. For you see, inside the snake was an elephant. The snake had swallowed an elephant whole. Well, the grown-ups told me to put down my crayons and pencils. Aww. And so I did. And I began to study other things like geography, arithmetic, and history. And I set off on my adventures to become a storyteller. And one day, as I was wandering across the world, I became lost. Now, I don't often become lost because most of my friends had a nickname for me, and they call me Compass Head. But I was lost. I was very, very lost. And so I sat under a craggy rock, examining my belly button. And after the 7th time of contemplating my belly button, I heard a little voice. A little voice that came to me and said, "Sir, draw me a sheep." A sheep? I turned and I saw the most extraordinary young man. A little prince with a very serious expression on his face. And again, he asked me, "Sir, draw me a sheep." So once again, I reached into my man bag, found a scrap of paper, and I decided to draw the little prince a sheep. The first sheep I drew was this one. And the little prince said, "No, that sheep, it's too sickly. Draw me another." So I drew this one, and I put horns on this sheep, but he said, "That's not a sheep, it's a ram." So I tried one more time, and this time I drew this bottom sheep, and he said, "No, that sheep is far too old. I want a sheep that will live for a very long time." So, having reached the end of my drawing prowess, I decided to draw the little prince this, a box. And I told the little prince that inside this box was the sheep. He couldn't see him because he was sleeping at the time. So the little prince was very, very happy to have his sheep in a box. And he thought, will he eat a lot of grass? Where I come from is very small, and there's not much grass. I said, don't worry. I drew the grass inside the box too. So the little prince, he was very happy with his sheep in a box. And then he started to ask me questions. And then I would ask him questions. And he would ask, and I would ask, and he would ask, and I would ask, and he would ask, and I would ask, and he would, and it went on like that. But he would never answer any of my questions. Well, why should he? I'm a grown-up. But this way is how I learned more and more about the little prince. There was a boy, a very strange, enchanted boy. They say he wandered very far, over land and sea. A little child, we talked a while about all he'd seen. And so, the little prince began to tell me his story. Now, the little prince came from a small planet. He lived on a planet no bigger than a house. Now, this planet had a name. We called it Asteroid 612. It was only seen once from Earth by a Turkish astronomer who looked through his telescope as he was dressed in his long, flowing robes. But when he told the people around him, they did not believe him because of the way he was dressed. Grown-ups can be like that. Now, on his planet, the little prince had 3 volcanoes, 2 that were active and were very convenient for warming up his breakfast, and 1 that was inactive, but he would still rake it out every day because you would never know. On his planet, he also had plants. He had good plants and he had bad plants. And the little prince wanted the sheep so it could eat the bad plants. And one of the good plants was a beautiful flower. It was a rose, a very beautiful rose. A rose more beautiful than any other rose in the universe. The only problem was, this rose knew how beautiful she was. And every morning, the rose would get up and the rose would say, "Aren't I beautiful? Aren't I the most beautiful thing you ever saw? Oh, don't you just love me so much?" And the rose had captured the heart of the little prince. But the rose would always complain. The rose would say, "I'm hungry, feed me. I'm cold, protect me. I need water, water me." And the little prince would say, "You're just so lovely today, Rose." And the flower, of course, would answer, "Aren't I though?" And I was born the same day as the sun. Now, after a while, despite his love for the little flower, the little prince started to mistrust her. And there's nothing worse in love than mistrusting the one you love. "You should never listen to the flower," he had said to me. He was too young, he thought. He did not know how to love. He did not know how to love her, to make her love him back. So he decided to go on a quest, to find the most magnetic power in the universe, the power of love. So, grabbing the morning birds, tying strings on their tail, the little prince left and flew off to find the truth of life. He visited 6 planets at first. These 6 planets were inhabited by a puppet, a poper, a pirate, a poet, a pawn, and a king.
Again.
A puppet, a poet, a puppet, a poper, a pirate, a poet, a pawn, and a king. Now, the first planet he went to was the planet of the king. And when he arrived at the planet of the king said, "Ah, a subject. Kneel before me, subject." Well, the planet was so small, and the king's robe was so big, there was no place to kneel, so the little prince just stood to the side. And he asked his question. Sir, what is the truth of the universe? What is the truth of love?" And the king looked at the little prince and said, "Power. Power is the truth of the universe. I love power. In fact, I love power so much, I shall appoint you, young one, as a judge." And the little prince said, "But there's no one here to judge." He said, "Yes, there is. There's a rat that scurries around on my planet every day. I want you to judge him and condemn him, but then forgive him every day because we only have one rat." Well, the little prince thought that this grown-up was very, very strange indeed, and he knew that power wasn't the truth of the universe. So he left and he went to the next planet. And the next planet, he arrived, and there he saw the pirate. Now, the pirate was actually a businessman. And when the little prince arrived, the businessman was in the middle of counting 1, 2, 500 million. See, and the little prince said, "Excuse me, sir, but could I ask you a question?" And the pirate, the businessman went, "Oh, I've lost my place. Look what you have done. I no longer can keep track. I have to start all over again. 1. And the little prince said, "But sir, what are you counting? Flies?" No, I'm counting those shiny things. Oh, bees. No, I'm counting those golden shiny things that make people lazy. I think you call them stars." And he continued to count the stars. He had reached the incredible number of 500,622,000. And the prince said, "This is not the secret, the truth of the universe." So once again he left, and this time he went to the planet of the pawn. The pawn was a lamplighter. And he asked the lamplighter, what is the secret of the universe? And the lamplighter, who was busy lighting his lamps and putting them out, lighting and putting them out, 427 times every hour, lighting and putting it out. And the pawn said, to obey the rules, that is the power of the universe. But the little prince knew that that was not true because his flower never obeyed the rules. So he could never find love by obeying her rules. Grown-ups certainly were strange. So he left and went to the next planet. And on the next planet, it was the planet of the poet, a geographer. Now, a geographer knows where everything is at. He knows where the mountains are. He knows where the ocean is. He knows the rivers. He knows the city. So the little prince said, Sir, what is the truth of the universe? And the poet, the geographer, said to him, knowledge. Knowledge is the truth of the universe. Well, the little prince thought that this might be the right answer. But he started to ask more questions. He said, Sir, this is a lovely planet. This is a beautiful planet. Do you have any mountains? And he said, I don't know. I've never seen them. Do you have any rivers? I don't know. I've never seen them. What about cities or lakes? I don't know. I've never seen them. I sit here in my desk drawing, marking down where the rivers, the mountains, the lakes, the cities all are. It is not my job to go and see them. But I might recommend a place that you can go. Why don't you go to Earth? It has a very good reputation. So the little prince made his way to Earth. And as he did, he took his steps. The first step was with a good thought. The second step was with a good word. And the third step was with a good deed. With this, he approached paradise. Well, he came to Earth. And then one day, one magic day, he passed my way. And though we spoke of many things, fools and kings, this he said to me. The greatest thing you'll ever learn is just to love and be loved in return. So the little prince went to Earth. It was the seventh planet he had visited. And the first creature he met on Earth was a snake. And he saw the snake. And he said to the snake, hello, my, aren't you a strange creature? You are no bigger than a finger, and you have no feet. How do you get around? And the snake looked at the little prince and said, I can be more powerful than any king's little finger. I can take you further than any ship can. Anyone I touch can be sent back to the land from where they came. Maybe someday, when you grow homesick, you will come to me. I can help you go back to see your precious flower. After that, both the prince and the snake were silent. Soon the little prince left the snake in the desert, and he began to roam on the rest of the earth, searching for the truth of what is most important in life, the most powerful force in the universe. What could it be? He would cross valleys. He would go up to mountaintops. There on the mountaintops, he would call out, hello! And he heard back, hello, hello, hello. Who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Who are you? I am lonely! Lonely, lonely, lonely. And the little prince thought, The people on this planet don't have very much imagination. They can never start a conversation. However, my Rose, oh, she would always speak first. Oh, how I miss my beautiful Rose. He thought of how she would react once he saw all the beautiful flowers and roses on Earth. He thought, would she be angry? I know what she would do. She would be annoyed, and she would cough. I'm so sick. She would pretend to be sick, and he, of course, loving his Rose, would pretend to nurse her back to health. Now, he thought of all he had seen on Earth, and he remembered his 3 small volcanoes that only came up to his knees, and his Rose who he protected with a glass dome at night and a screen to keep the wind off. And he had thought he was rich, and he was becoming homesick. Then, as he was crying on the grass, he heard a small voice cry out, "Hello? Hello there." He turned and looked. He didn't see anyone. He looked the other way. He did not see anyone. "I'm here. I am here under the apple tree." And there, under the apple tree, was a fox. And he went to the fox and he said, "Fox, can you tell me what the truth of the universe is?" And the fox said, "I cannot. I am a wild animal. I can only tell you the truth of the universe if you tame me." Well, the little prince tamed the fox. And then the fox decided that it was time to tell the little prince his secret, his truth of the universe. And he said, "It is only with the heart that one can see clearly. What is important is invisible to the eyes. Sometimes the truth isn't what you see, but it's what you can't see. Like love. You cannot really see love, but you can truly feel love." And although the fox was sad, the little prince was happy.
Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Nothing you can do that can't be done. Nothing you can sing that can't be sung.
he had heard that, the little prince knew that it was time to go back home. But his body was too heavy, so he went to the snake to take him up on his offer to go back to the place that he came from. And so the snake helped the little prince go back to his planet, the asteroid 612, with the 3 volcanoes and the good plants and bad plants and his beautiful little rose under a glass dome. And he took this lesson with him. To harness the greatest power in the universe, all you have to do is give love, and you'll get love in return. There was a boy, a very strange, enchanted boy. They say he wandered very far, over land and sea. A little shy and sad of eye, but awfully wise was he. And then one day, one magic day, he came my way. And while we spoke of many things, fools and kings, this he said to me: the greatest thing you'll ever learn is just to love and be loved in return. So when the little prince had left, I thought, what had I learned? Well, I pondered. And I learned that sometimes the truth isn't what you see, it is what you can't see. I had learned that you could know someone for just a couple of days and never forget the impression that they make on you. I learned that love is like a magnetic field. Even though you can't see it, it surrounds everyone and everything. I've learned that the truth you create is your own magnetic field. And the more love you create, the more love you attract. I had learned that nothing is too big for the force of love. That if you love someone, you could find the patience to wait until they loved you back. And that life is so very fine and fragile, both at the same time. And so now at night, just before I start to dream, I think of my little prince and his charming laugh, and I listen to the stars, especially a small star, asteroid 612. I love listening to the stars. All 500,623 stars I listened to. And they were like little bells, singing and laughing sweetly. And then I know that I am happy for the little prince and his beautiful rose. If we only have love, then the morrow will dawn, and the days of our years will rise on that morn. If we only have love, we embrace without tears.
If we only have love, with our arms open wide, then the young and the old
and then give this new world